Uh, okay, apparently we are live now. Oh, that's interesting. Last night, the entire night, there was one person who was, like, you probably can't see it, but there's a little counter that says how many people are attending this. Oh, someone joined the chat. Cool. Or wait, not the chat, but someone's at least watching this. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to my second live stream. I was struggling to come up with an idea of what to do during this live stream, but I came up with something kind of on the spot. Give me a second. So I said in that update video the other day that I wanted to read stories, kind of do a live reading of things. And so I was thinking of books that I had lying around the house. The thing is, though, the books I have to read are probably going to have to be public domain, seeing as how there are a lot of works out there that are copyrighted. So one of the books that's in the public domain is this one, Animal Farm by George Orwell. I've heard I've heard many things about this book, but I myself have never actually read this book. So I think this will be interesting. Maybe I'll read the whole thing. Maybe I'll only read a good portion of it, but who knows? Or, maybe I should inform like other people that I'm actually streaming right now. I mean, I know I told them via Instagram that I was going to do it, but now I probably should like show them that I'm actually there now. So, let's see.
Oh yeah, this will be.
Yeah, that's funny. It's me taking a picture of myself, and now I'm going to post on Instagram and YouTube, of course, so that people can see it. Okay, so I probably should have thought of this ahead of time, but oh well. I am now live streaming on YouTube. Come join the fun. Uh, Link in bio. So yeah, I'm just gonna just bear with me for a second. Again, I'm kind of an amateur at this, but we'll see. Uh, where was I? Oh yeah, that's strange. I know that I'm following myself, but there we go. Jeez Louise. Sorry, that was audio from my phone. But anyway, here I'm going to just hit share, copy, and now to go to my bio on Instagram. Come on, my bio. Edit profile, get rid of the link that was originally there, and paste it. Okay, there we go. Hopefully, other people are seeing it too. So, skip trial. Pardon me. I'll just get out of here. Get out of here. Now, with all that out of the way, let's give this book a read as soon as I have a drink of this. Ugh. Here we go. Here's the beginning of the book. Mr. Jones of the manor farm had locked the hen houses for the night, but was too drunk to remember to shut the pop holes. With the ring of light from his lantern dancing from side to side, he lurched across the yard, kicked off his boots at the back door, drew himself a last glass of beer from the barrel in the scullery, and made his way up to the bed, where Mrs. Jones was already snoring. As soon as the light in the bedroom went out, there was a stirring and a fluttering all throughout the farm buildings. Word had gone around during the day that old Major, the prize middle white boar, had a strange dream on the previous night and wished to communicate it to the other animals. It had been agreed that they should all meet in the big barn as soon as Mr. Jones was safely out of the way. Old Major, so he was always called, though the name under which he had been exhibited was Willington Beauty, was so highly regarded on the farm that everyone was quite ready to lose an hour's sleep in order to hear what he had to say. At one end of the big barn, on a sort of raised platform, Major was already ensconced on his bed of straw under a under a lantern which hung from a beam. He was 12 years old and had lately grown rather stout, but he was still a majestic looking pig, with a wise and benevolent appearance in spite of the fact that his tushes had never been cut. Or is it tushes? Who knows? Anyway, I should probably have my phone be on silent. Okay, so before long, the other animals began to arrive and make themselves comfortable after their different fashions. First came the three dogs, Bluebell, Jessie, and Pincher, and then the pigs, who settled down in the straw immediately in front of the platform. The hens perched themselves on the window sills. The pigeons fluttered up to the rafters. The sheep and cows lay down behind the pigs and began to chew the cud. The two cart horses, Boxer and Clover, came in together, walking very slowly and setting down their vast hairy hooves with great care, lest there should be some small animal concealed in the straw. Clover was a stout, motherly mare approaching middle life, who had never quite got her figure back after her fourth foal. Boxer was an enormous beast, nearly 18 hands high, and as strong as any two ordinary horses put together. A white stripe down his nose gave him a somewhat stupid appearance, and in fact, he was not of first rate intelligence, but he was universally respected for his steadiness of character and tremendous powers of work. After the horses came Muriel, the white goat, and Benjamin, the donkey. Benjamin was the oldest animal on the farm, and the worst tempered. He seldom talked, and when he did, it was usually to make some cynical remark. For instance, he would say that God had given him a tail to keep the flies off, but that he would sooner have had no tail and no flies. Alone among the animals on the farm, no, wait, Alone among the animals on the farm, he never laughed. If asked why, he would say that he saw nothing to laugh at. Nevertheless, without openly admitting it, he was devoted to Boxer. The two of them usually spent their Sundays together in the small paddock beyond the orchard, grazing side by side and never speaking. The two horses had just lain down when a brood of ducklings, which had lost their mother, filed into the barn, cheeping feebly and wandering from side to side to find some place where they would not be trodden on. Clover made a sort of wall round them with her great foreleg, and the ducklings nestled down inside it and promptly fell asleep. At the last moment, Molly, the foolish, pretty white mare who drew Mr. Jones's trap, came mincing daintily in, chewing at a lump of sugar. She took a place near the front and began flirting her white mane, hoping to draw attention to the red ribbons. It was my apologies. Hoping to draw attention to the red ribbons it was plated with. Thought I said planted with, but my mistake. Last of all came the cat, who looked round as usual for the warmest place, and finally squeezed herself in between Boxer and Clover. There she purred contentedly throughout Major's speech without listening to a word of what she was saying. All these animals were now present except Moses, the tame raven, who slept on a perch behind the back door. When Major saw that they had all made themselves comfortable and were waiting attentively, pardon my mispronunciation, he cleared his throat and began. Comrades, you have heard already about the strange dream that I had last night, but I will come to the dream later. I have something else to say first. I do not think, comrades, that I shall be with you for many months longer, and before I die, I feel it my duty to pass on to you such wisdom as I have acquired. I have had a long life. I have had much time for thought as I lay alone in my stall, and I think I may say that I understand the nature of life on this earth as well as any animal now living. It is it is about this that I wish to speak to you. Now, comrades, what is the nature of this life of ours? Let us face it, our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. We are born, we are given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies, and those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. You know, these animals know a lot of fancy words. Just saying. I mean, atom? When was the last time you heard a horse say atom? That's like very specific and science like. Anyway, let's see. Atom. I'm gonna like the last atom of our strength, and the very instant that our usefulness has come to an end, we are slaughtered with hideous cruelty. No animal in England knows the meaning of happiness or leisure after he is a year old. No animal in England is free. Ah, if I had known that this story took place in England, I probably would have put on a British accent, but oh well. The life of an animal is misery and slavery. This is the plain truth. But this is simply part but is this simply part of the order of nature? Is it because this land of ours is so poor that it cannot afford a decent life to those who dwell upon it? No, comrades, 1,000 times no. The soil of England is fertile. Its climate is good. It is capable of affording food in abundance to an enormously greater number of animals than now inhabit it. This single farm of ours would support a dozen horses, 20 cows, hundreds of sheep, all of them living in a comfort and a dignity that are now almost beyond our imagining. Why then do we continue in this miserable condition? Because nearly the whole of the produce of our labor is stolen from us by human beings. There, comrades, is the answer to all our problems. It is summed up in a single word: man. Man is the only real enemy here. No, man is the only real enemy we have. Remove man from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. Man is the only creature that consumes without produce. Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. He does not give milk. He does not lay eggs. He is too weak to pull the plow. He cannot run fast enough to catch rabbits. Yet he is lord of all the animals. He sets them to work. He gives back to them the bare minimum that will prevent them from starving, and the rest he keeps for himself. Our labor tills the soil, our dung fertilizes it, and yet there is not one of us that owns more than his bare skin. You cows that I see before me, how many thousands of gallons of milk have you given during this last year? And what has happened to that milk which should have been breeding up sturdy calves? Every drop of it has gone down the throats of our enemies. And you, hens, how many eggs have you laid in this last year? And how many of those eggs ever hatched into chickens? The rest have gone to market to bring in money for Jones and his men. And you, Clover, where are those 4 foals you bore, who should have been the support and pleasure of your old age? Each was sold at a year old. You will never see one of them again. In return for your 4 confinements and all your labors in the fields, what have you ever had except your bare rations and a stall? And even the miserable lives we lead are not all allowed to reach their natural span. I may have read that wrong. I'll reread again. Pardon me. And even the miserable lives we lead are not allowed to reach their natural span. For myself, I do not grumble, for I am one of the lucky ones. I am 12 years old and have had over 400 children. Such is the nature life, such is the natural life of a pig. But no animal escapes the cruel knife in the end. You young porkers who are sitting in front of me, every one of you will scream your lives out at the block within a year. To that horror, all must come. Cows, pigs, hens, sheep, everyone. Even the horses and the dogs have no better fate. You, boxer, the very day that those great muscles of yours lose their power, Jones will sell you to the knacker, who will cut your throat and boil you down for the foxhounds. As for the dogs, when they grow old and toothless, Jones ties a brick around their necks and drowns them in the nearest pond. It is it not crystal clear then, comrades, that all the evils of this life of ours spring from the tyranny of human beings? Only get rid of man, and the produce of our labor would be our own. Almost overnight, we could become rich and free. What then must we do? Why work day and night, body and soul, for the overthrow of the human race? That is my message to you, comrades. Rebellion! I do not know when the rebellion will come. It might be in a week or in 100 years. But I know, as surely as I see this straw beneath my feet, that sooner or later, justice will be done. Fix your eyes on that, comrades, throughout the short remainder of your lives. And above all, pass on this message of mine to those who come after you, so that future generations shall carry on the struggle until it is victorious. And remember, comrades, your resolution must never falter. No argument must lead you astray. Never listen when they tell you that man and the animals have a common interest, that the prosperity of the one is the prosperity of the others. It is all lies. Man serves the interest of no creatures except himself. And among us animals, let there be perfect unity, perfect comradeship in the struggle. All men are enemies, all animals are comrades. At this moment, there was a tremendous uproar. When Major was speaking, 4 large rats had crept out of their holes and were sitting on their hindquarters, listening to him. The dogs had suddenly caught sight of them, and it was only by swift dash for their holes that the rats saved their lives. Major raised his trotter for silence. Comrades, he said, here is a point that must be settled. The wild creatures, such as rats and rabbits, are they our friends or enemies? Let us put it to the vote. I propose this question to the meeting. Are rats comrades? The vote was taken at once, and it was agreed by an overwhelming majority that the rats were comrades. There were only 4 dissentients, the 3 dogs and the cat, who was afterwards discovered to have voted on both sides. Major continued, and I continued to have a drink. Pretty good speech, by the way. I have little more to say. I merely repeat. Remember, always your duty of enmity towards man and all his ways. Whatever goes upon two legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon four legs or has wings is a friend. And remember also that in fighting against man, we must not come to resemble him. Even when you have conquered him, do not adopt his vices. No animal must ever live in a house, or sleep in a bed, or wear clothes, or drink alcohol, or smoke tobacco, or touch money, or engage in trade. All the habits of man are evil. And above all, no animal must ever tyrannize over his own kind, weak or strong, clever or simple. We are all brothers. No animal must ever kill any other animal. All animals are equal. And now, comrades, I will tell you about my dream of last night. I cannot describe that dream to you. It was a dream of the earth as it will be when man has vanished. But it reminded me of something that I had long forgotten. Many years ago, when I was a little pig, my mother and the other sows used to sing an old song of which they knew only the tune and the first three words. I had known that tune in my infancy, but it had long since passed out of my mind. Last night, however, it came back to me in my dream, and what is more, the words of the song also came back. Words, I am certain, which were sung by the animals of long ago and have been lost to memory for generations. I will sing to you that song now, comrades. I am old, and my voice is hoarse. But when I have taught you the tune, you can sing it better for yourself. It is called Beasts of England. Old Major cleared his throat and began to sing. As he had said, his voice was hoarse, but he sang well enough, and had a stirring tune, something between Clementine and La Cucaracha. The words ran: Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken to my heartful tidings of the golden future time. Soon or late the day is coming, tyrant man shall be o'erthrown, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trod by beasts alone. Rings shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our back. Bit and spur shall rust forever, cruel whips no more shall crack. Riches no more than mind can picture, wheat and barley, oats and hay, clover, beans, and mangel wurzels shall be ours upon that day. Bright will shine the fields of England, pure shall its waters be, sweeter yet shall blow its breezes on the day that sets us free. For that day we all must labor, though we all die before it break. Cows and horses, geese and turkeys, all must toil for freedom's sake. Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken well and spread my tidings of the golden future time. The singing of this song threw the animals into the wildest excitement. Almost before Major had reached the end, they had begun singing it for themselves. Even the stupidest of them had already picked up the tune and a few of the words. And as for the clever ones, such as the pigs and the dogs, they had the entire song by heart within a few minutes. And then, after a few preliminary tries, the whole farm burst out into Beasts of England in tremendous unison. The cows loved it, the dogs whined it, and the sheep bleated it, the horses whinnied it, and the ducks quacked it. They were so delighted with the song that they sang it right through 5 times in succession, and might have continued singing it all night if they had not been interrupted. Unfortunately, the uproar woke Mr. Jones, who had sprang out of bed, making sure that there was a fox in the yard. He seized the gun, which always stood in a corner of his bedroom, and let fly a charge of number 6 shot into the darkness. The pellets buried themselves in the wall of the barn, and the meeting broke up hurriedly. Everyone fled to his own sleeping place. The birds jumped onto their perches, the animals settled down in the straw, and the whole farm was asleep in a moment. Okay, take a quick short break. Yeah, I'm definitely out of practice when it comes to being a voice actor because, it's definitely getting a lot more. Your connection is unstable? Huh, that was weird. It just said that my connection was unstable, but it seems okay now, so whatever. And that little squeaking you're hearing right now, that's my pet bird downstairs. Don't know what's causing her to make those noises. So wait, the person who's watching this is again, it says that there's one person watching this, but I don't know if it's me or someone else. So, if it is someone other than me, could you type something if possible? There should be something like maybe down beneath, you know, this whole thing, or maybe to the side. I don't know. But, just give me some kind of a sign that, oh, they left. Was it because I was trying to acknowledge my audience? Did I do something wrong? I mean, I was going to go back to reading. Hold on a second. No, ice. Seems the screeching has stopped. But anyway, I guess I should continue with the story, right? Or maybe the screeching hasn't stopped. Just give me a second. I'll get back to the story in just a moment. And my phone is on silent, so yeah, no interruptions in that regard. So, chapter 2 of Animal Farm. If my voice gets hoarse after a while, I do apologize ahead of time. Let's see. Yeah, my microphone position seems to be good. Yeah, now I'm a bit closer to the mic. I have kind of a proximity effect going on right now, don't I? But, I'm hunched over and it's not very comfortable. Anyway, chapter 2. 3 nights later, Old Major died peacefully in his sleep. His body was buried at the foot of the orchard. This was early in March. Thanks for the words of encouragement, DJ Squad. Uh, what's your logo? I can't really tell from here. It looks cool, but all right. Let's. Yeah. Well, DJ Squad, you just made my day. Thank you. Uh, this was early March. During the next 3 months, there was much secret activity. Major speech had given to the more intelligent animals on the farm a completely new outlook on life. They did not know when the rebellion predicted by Major would take place. They had no reason for thinking that it would be within their own lifetime. And there's air conditioning going on in the background. uh, but that's kind of beyond my control. I normally don't turn off the air conditioning, like unless I'm auditioning, because people who hear auditions do not want to hear fan noise in the background, especially from air conditioning. So normally I would turn it off. Okay, I will just call you DJ. Yeah, yeah. Sorry it took me a while to. You probably sent, these comments a bit earlier, but I guess it takes a while for them to come through. But anyway, uh, again, you said not to apologize and just read, so I'm going to do that. Anyway, where was I? I'll just start here. They did not know when the rebellion predicted by Major would take place. They had no reason for thinking that it would be within their own lifetime, but they saw clearly that it was their duty to prepare for it. The work of teaching and organizing the others fell naturally upon the pigs, who were generally recognized as being the cleverest of the animals. Prominent among the pigs were two young boars named Snowball and Napoleon, whom Mr. Jones was breeding up for sale. Napoleon was a large, rather fierce looking Berkshire boar, and the only Berkshire on the farm. Not much of a talker, but with a reputation for getting his own way. Snowball was a more vivacious pig than Napoleon, quicker in speech and more inventive, but was not considered to have the same depth of character. All the other male pigs on the farm were porkers. Ah, you're quite welcome, DJ. Uh, the best known among them was a small fat pig named Squealer with very round cheeks. Oh my god, did I really just say that? I am so sorry. Anyway, I'm going to read that sentence again. The best known among them was a small fat pig named Squealer with very round cheeks, twinkling eyes, nimble movements, and a shrill voice. He was a brilliant talker, and when he was arguing some difficult point, he had a way of skipping from side to side and whisking his tail, which was somehow very persuasive. The others said of Squealer that he could turn black into white. Well, thank you, DJ. Yeah. People have been telling me that I should get into voiceover for a while, and I've been doing that for man, almost 10 years or so. But yeah, I figured doing stuff like this would be fun to do. And again, the reason why I'm reading this is because it's public domain and, I probably read a more mainstream book, but whatever. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah. Right, I read the whole black into white part. These three had elaborated Old Major's teaching into a complete system of thought, to which they gave the name of animalism. Several nights a week, after Mr. Jones was asleep, they held secret meetings in the barn and expounded the principles of animalism to the others. At the beginning, they met with much stupidity and apathy. Some of the animals talked of the duty of loyalty to Mr. Jones, whom they referred to as Master, or made elementary remarks such as, Mr. Jones feeds us. If he were gone, we would starve to death. Others asked such questions as, why should we care what happens after we are dead? Or, if this If this rebellion is to happen anyway, what difference does it make whether we work for it or not? And the pigs had great difficulty in making them see that this was contrary to the spirit of animalism. The stupidest questions of all were asked by Molly, the white mare. The very first question she asked Snowball was, "Will there still be sugar after the rebellion?" "No," said Snowball firmly. "We have no means of making sugar on this farm. Besides, you do not need sugar. You will have all the oats and hay you want." "And shall I be allowed to wear ribbons in my mane?" asked Molly. Oh, thank you for your comment on my subscribers. I think the reason why I have that many subscribers is because I used to post panels from Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, and those have gotten tons of views. I've done panels for Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Castle, definitely Castle, a bunch of other shows, but right now it's all about the voiceover stuff. So, "Comrade," said Snowball, "those ribbons that you are so devoted to are the badge of slavery. Can you not understand that liberty is worth more than ribbons?" Molly agreed, but she did not sound very convinced. The pigs had an even harder struggle to counteract the lies put about by Moses, the tame raven. Moses, who is Mr. Jones's espe- especial. I've never heard that word before. Especial. It's the word special, but with an E at the beginning. Okay. Moses, who was Mr. Jones's especial pet, was a spy and a talebearer, like yours truly. But he was also a clever talker. He claimed to know of the existence of a mysterious country called Sugar Candy Mountain. Sugar Candy Mountain. A normal man or dad? I well, I'm definitely not a dad. I don't have any kids. Uh, but I wouldn't call myself normal either. I'm definitely weird in my own ways. Okay, where was I? Oh, right. He claimed to know of